What you're looking at on the screen there on the left-hand side, that is that big pinwheeling area of low pressure. That is our storm system. And it's still sitting a good bit off of the coast, but it has a lot of moisture getting incorporated into the low. You can see it moving around, circling the low, and that moisture is coming from the subtropics, and the cold air is coming from the Gulf of Alaska. So this thing is a colliding air masses. It is more unstable than we were thinking initially, so more convective. And what convection is, there are two kinds of rain, essentially. You get that low-lying clouds, just a lot of moisture supply, mist, drizzle, showers, lighter rainfall rates. What convection is that puffy cumulonimbus type of rainfall. That's where the cold air is aloft, warm air at the bottom. It gets pushed up into the upper atmosphere. There's more moisture. It tends to come down in more downpours. Thunderstorms are possible. And with the twist and spin of the larger system and also just all the jet stream energy, it does introduce the possibility of severe weather in a slightly higher opportunity. I think we're going to see more of that as we get into, say, Tuesday, but we cannot rule it out with the initial front that's on later on today. So just moving into the analysis, you can see how everything is initialized well, meaning the position of the low, the models have gotten that. They've taken a pretty good snapshot of the winds and the dynamics of the system. So let's put it into motion and see what we can expect here. Again, rainfall starting any time here, but more likely later on with this initial band moving through the area later on tonight into tomorrow. Then a bit of a break. We're going to see a little gap probably after the initial line before more of the system rolls in as we get into Tuesday. Anywhere from Tuesday morning, I should say probably Tuesday morning a break, Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday morning. That could be a significant time frame for us as well. That upper low is cold and unstable. That big yellow band there, if you draw a line from the Hawaiian Islands on the left-hand side of your screen to the right-hand side where you see LA and San Francisco, that is the atmospheric river. It's 1 on a scale of 1 to 5, but it is focused on our area now through Monday into Tuesday as well. So let's get at our 3-kilometer modeling here and talk about what is possible. Here you can see, in fact, I'm going to take this out of automatic play mode and I'm going to just scrub this myself. So again, you know what? Let's go to the radar first and show you where things are at. Here you can see the rainfall is moving at the area. Again, a few drops already falling around San Luis Obispo County, but you can see this larger chunk here near Lompoc. So let's see how far away that leading edge is here. About 25 miles. And again, it's moving pretty quickly here. Let's see if we can grab one of these. Yeah, it's pretty good in terms of some of the dynamics there. Okay, so again, what we're looking at here is this activity moving in. Let's get back over to the modeling and see if we see, again, good initialization there. Yeah, it's picking up some of this activity just off the coast. So again, over the next hour or so, we'll see more rainfall, pockets of heavier rain beginning to move in. This is 5 o'clock, still raining across the area. 6 o'clock. Now we're getting even more of that instability moving in. And you can see the rainfall across the area through 10 o'clock, through 11 o'clock. Now really active across Santa Barbara County through midnight. Getting into Monday morning, very active across the South Coast. 3 a.m., still very, very active across the South Coast. Continued activity across the Central Coast, but again, you can see maybe a bit more gap in there. Okay, later on Monday, it looks like we could see a gap for parts of the Central Coast, but the system is far from done yet. If we keep going forward here, getting into Tuesday, if you look on the very left-hand side of your screen, Tuesday night, later afternoon into the evening, we ought to see another push of activity. Let me get to that here in a different model set. So again, activity now through the overnight, then perhaps a little bit of a gap as we get into Tuesday, but as we get into Tuesday evening, now that part of the system has to roll over the Central Coast as well. So that's pretty significant in terms of the opportunities here. And the Weather Service just got done with a briefing, which I attended. Their feeling is the system is more unstable. They did not back away largely from the rainfall expectations. Let's show you a little bit about that. Couple of things. This is their outlook for rainfall. So if you look broadly across the area, the deep interior might see some areas at about 1 inch, maybe even shy of that. But for most of the Central Coast, they have not moved away from their forecast of 2 to 5 inches. I think maybe 1 to 4 is probably a better range, but I think that does cover. I think we're kind of really in the same ballpark there. One area with some adjustment has been in the hills up along the North Coast. It looked a couple of days ago like that area could see anywhere from 4 to 8+ inches of rain. Backed off a little bit. Right now, those hills above Cambria, Hearst Castle, Rocky Butte, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain, with Cambria itself seeing 3.5. That's the Weather Service outlook now, with the slow area in that 3 to 4. Let's see, what do they have in San Luis? Yeah, they're about 3 in San Luis. Santa Maria, 2.5. South Coast, they got Santa Barbara at about 5 inches, and then the hills in Santa Barbara more than that. I do like that part of the forecast. That does line up with what our models are saying as well. So let's get back over to what the models are saying about this. This is our model, and you can see what it's saying here. It's going with 2 to 4, across the South Coast. With up in the hills here, this is 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of rain with possibly amounts to 8. The deeper interior, again, could be a little soft. We can see some areas maybe shy of 1 inch of rain. And our modeling, and this is just through Tuesday morning. Remember, there's a significant push Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. This is basically, 1 to 3 inches of rain. So if we get another 1/2 inch to 1 inch, that puts us in the 1 to 4, 2 to 5 range. I think we're pretty close here. And this is the Weather Prediction Center's outlook. It's essentially 2 to 4 for the Central Coast. You can see there's some areas in the hills in the South Coast and mountains there where this particular forecast goes 4 to 8 inches of rain. I think that's actually pretty good. I think there's a lot of agreement here. It just depends how exacting you really need that number to be. I think the story here is that everybody has a good push of rain. No changes to the watch warning advisory situation. It's still a flood watch from now into Wednesday morning. That means flooding can happen pretty much anywhere, anytime. Thunderstorm potential is there today. It's there tomorrow. It's there on Tuesday as well. Excessive rainfall potential. It's there today. It's there tomorrow for the South Coast. So that's 2 days of moderate excessive rainfall opportunities for the South Coast, and still in the slight possibility on Tuesday as well. So if you add all of that up, this is a lot of messaging here that things could be pretty significant. High surf advisory, 15 to 20 footers out there for the Central Coast into early Tuesday. For the South Coast, 6 to 10 feet plus coastal flooding. We saw a tidal surge today, a little less so tomorrow morning. I think as we get into Tuesday morning, we're going to see another surge, especially for the South Coast. Could be interesting because it could come from the southwest, and that's we don't see a whole lot of that for us on the South Coast. So I do think some potential coastal flooding is an issue. We have a couple of advisories for wind. We have a wind advisory for much of the Central Coast and a warning in the mountains. You can see this southwesterly push starting tonight and going into Monday. That model's a little soft on the total amount of wind, but again, 20 to 40 mile per hour wind there. I want to take you back over to some of the social media here just to show you some of the updates we did. I'm going to get back over here. Precipitation and timing. San Luis Obispo now in the very heavy potential as we go Sunday night here. Santa Barbara, Sunday night, very heavy potential, and also Monday, and Ventura County Monday. If you read the details here, 2 to 5 inches, except 4 to 8 in the hills, and mountains and foothills, and Santa Barbara South Coast locally 10 inches in the Santa Lucia and Santa Ynez Mountains. Again, I'm less certain about the Santa Lucia range, but definitely Santa Ynez Mountains. 1/2 inch to 1 inch rainfall per hour is possible, and the confidence has went from moderate to high. This is some of the discussion points that they made during a presentation. Increased threat of convective showers, 20% chance of thunderstorms, resulting in increased confidence in higher intensity rainfall, increased severe weather threat across southwestern California. That is not to be fully discounted, right? And here you go. This is a new addition too. We knew the Narrows, Santa Ynez River at the Narrows near Lompoc, that was going to be near monitoring stage. Santa Maria, we've got to monitor things there. But the addition today was the increased threat of hitting monitor stage at the Salinas River and Paso Robles. That's significant. There's a lot of homeless folks who live down in the riverbed area, and monitor stage means that there's going to be a lot of water moving through that area. I know there's a lot of awareness of that particular issue, so that is something new as well. But again, I think this is the key, that we've moved into this very heavy opportunity for SLO and Santa Barbara counties. It's going to be tonight into early Monday. Then there's going to be a bit of a gap. And then on Tuesday night, there's this next opportunity to see elevated activity. And just going to march you through, let's switch to just a slightly different model here. This shows us some of the rainfall coming this afternoon, a really big surge coming overnight into early Monday. I think the fortunate element there is that a lot of people will be inside. That is always the way to stay safest, but the other way to stay safe is to simply try to curtail your activities during the peak of the storm. And again, there are two peaks. It's going to be later today into early Monday, then a gap, then later Tuesday. Okay, that's a lot of information. Try to break that down for you in our story at ksby.com. Just going to head through some of the comments here. Oh, Vivian made a comment. And by the way, Vivian will be on tomorrow morning with everybody, and she will have a complete update. She's fantastic. So thank you, Vivian. Good to see you in the comments. Just some thanks in here. Thank you, everybody. You guys are great. Again, we really, really appreciate it. The goal here is to have a lot of information for you. Maybe for some it's too much or meandering or whatever, but I think if there's a place to err on, it's the side of giving you all of our thoughts here. Again, we want you to stay safe. Recently, I've got to say, we've done really, really well. We've really been able to limit casualties here locally to what has been a very, very active winter. I think we've learned some important lessons, and I do think the information is getting out there. And for those of you who are active and want to share this with people, please do, because I think it's important. And again, this particular video will be added to our story. The story has all the graphics related to it. So anybody who thinks you think might need to have the information, please have them get that from ksby.com. And if you could just hit like and add to Vivian and my social media, the professional media here on Facebook and on Twitter, we can get you those additional thoughts as things happen during events. So again, we appreciate you all. Please stay safe during the storm. When it really gets rolling here, we'll share some more Doppler radar and those sorts of things. That's it for now. Have a great afternoon. I will see you on KSBY at 6, again 10 on the CW5, and 11 on KSBY. Have a great afternoon. Good evening.